Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this particular video, I will be doing an in-depth dive into Hades. Now, who is Hades? In the Latin word Hades, you would find the ancient Greek god of the underworld. Now, what might the Latin meaning of said god truly represent? Well, Hades stems from the word Pluton, which in Roman means the rich one. In the Roman translation from Pluto, we enter into the notion derived as the rich one. Now, in terms of what does the Greek meaning of Hades mean? Well, let's dive into the Lord of the Underworld, known as the Rich One. Notice the word Hades, hate, in a similar pronunciation, if you wish, Hades. And from this particular derivative of English, which English is a derivative of Latin, in the derivative of Latin, there are different words that associate themselves to the word or the term Hades. The predominant definition of Hades in Latin means the invisible one, the unseen. In the psychological analysis, you could essentially base the notion that from every single word regarding one particular term that points to Hades, the invisible one, this particular word is dis, D-I-S. In Latin, dis, which language derived from Latin, you could essentially find that in the Latin development of language, we derive our sounds for language based on Latin, if it is a Latin-based language. But from the sound of said language, you actively pursue the Latin meaning behind the now evolved language word, wherever the word might be in a different language. So let's imagine this. Well, where might you see the unseen one? Disappear, disapproval. Any particular term that starts with a dis type sound at the beginning is a reference to Hades, also known as the rich one. Why might Hades be known as the rich one? Well, where might we find the notion behind wealth is the devil's greed? Money is the devil's greed. Hence the term Pluton or Pluto, stemming in the Roman translation of Hades. Now, in terms of the actual analysis of certain of these terms, in its Latin root, it is actually spelled aeons, but is pronounced Hades, because you have to pronounce it according to the A-O-N-S, Hayans, which more evolved language, such as Greek, took aeons, which is a definition of time, and attached it to what is the definition known as the Lord of the Underworld. Now, in terms of time spent, aeons, within said underworld, is there a kingdom above? And are we at the underworld now? And is there another underworld under this one? in the understanding of the different dimensions at which we as human beings obey. We have come to know 3 different dimensions that which we obey as 3-dimensional beings. We obey the spirit realm, the mental realm, and the physical realm, which throughout aeons within said underworld, you might find a symbolization of Hades popularized by Disney and other representations depicting Hades as having a head on fire, also known as hate. In the action of experiencing emotion, you actively change your body temperature according to where you feel said emotion. If you were to look at a thermal picture of an individual who is experiencing hate within themselves, and you were to look at the portrayal of an individual's emotion when they experience hate, you would see in the thermal imaging that they actively look like their head is on fire, a heat source. And according to different emotions, we see different heat patterns within said body. And so, thank you for watching my introduction into the term known as Hades. I will be beginning possibly an in-depth dive into different Greek gods, into what they might essentially mean. And in this particular study, we might find different notions regarding how each Latin term that is derived from these particular gods and their Latin root of its meaning, we can actively analyze and find the basis of the paragon of emotions that we as humans experience. A form of archetypal energies, if you wish. Energies greater than ourselves, such as gods, you could say, which we as humans have zero control over how we can essentially experience our emotions, as far as we're taught. But I don't know about you, but it's a requirement as an individual to be able to learn to control your emotions. And in the act of controlling your emotions, we find a different particular root. Where might this particular root stem temptation? Thank you.